Could the MCU get a reboot with the end of Phase 3? What will happen to the MCU once Phase 3 concludes with the Avengers Infinity War sequel? It's a question all Marvel fans have been asking ever since getting a look at the studio's mysterious slate for 2020. Marvel has 3 movies on the docket that year, but as of now, we only know the identity of one of them, the obviously going to happen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But keeping the other 2 under wraps is an unusual move for the typically hype-happy studio. It's left viewers wondering if something truly earth-shaking is around the corner, especially with series mainstays like Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans seemingly reaching the limits of how long they want to play a superhero. Could the MCU be on the edge of a soft reboot? And now franchise mastermind Kevin Feige is adding some fuel to the speculation fire. Uproxx asked Feige about the potential end of the MCU in a recent interview, and he replied by saying, "The films we are working on now, which take us through to the Avengers Untitled in May of 19, that's really all we are focusing on." Then adding, "We are focusing on bringing, by that point, an unprecedented 22-movie continuous shared fictional narrative to a conclusion in a satisfying way." Based solely on that, it really sounds like, in some way, once Phase 3 has ended, the MCU will, as Feige said, reach a narrative conclusion. Of course, besides Guardians 3, Marvel also has a Spider-Man Homecoming sequel on the horizon for Phase 4, but it's not hard to see how those 2 stories could exist on their own, disregarding the rest of the MCU. The Guardians have always existed in their own little far-flung pocket of the universe, and while Spider-Man Homecoming was definitely tied pretty tightly to MCU continuity, there's no chance that Sony will let go of a successful Spider-Man reboot, even if it means all the characters have to suddenly start acting like Tony Stark never existed. So could we really be getting ready for Feige to hit the big red reboot button? Well, it sure seemed that way until one more voice jumped into the conversation: Guardians director James Gunn. Responding to the reaction to Feige's recent quotes, Gunn said, "Read Kevin Feige's quotes and not the static around them. It's the end of one long story and the beginning of another, and one of the films that will kickstart the new story will be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Now, nowhere did Feige ever really give any indication that Phase 4 would be the start of a new story. He did mention in the Uproxx interview that they had ideas of places the franchise could go, but that could really mean anything, so we're guessing that Gunn's reaction was shaped, at least a little bit, by insider knowledge. Obviously, if the next Guardians installment is going to set the groundwork for the next chapter of the MCU, then he must know a little bit about what he's setting the groundwork for. But what that could be, and why is Marvel remaining so tight-lipped about it? Well, from where we're sitting, it seems pretty clear. The MCU is going full cosmic. Yes! It's a move they've been preparing for some time now, with more and more of the films moving off-world after the surprise success of the first Guardians. The upcoming Thor Ragnarok takes us to parts of the MCU we've never seen before. Infinity War is going to have a huge outer space element to it. Even Captain Marvel is rumored to largely be a cosmic story. Sure, we'll touch back down on Earth every now and then for a random Spider-Man adventure, but mostly we'll be off-Earth exploring the galaxy with heroes like Star-Lord, Thor, and Carol Danvers. And it's not just a way for the franchise to keep expanding and stay interesting, it's probably a way to keep tired stars like Robert Downey Jr. in orbit. The role of Iron Man probably seems a little less daunting if you're only throwing on the suit for 1 or 2 cameos every phase. But what do you folks think? Could the MCU be really coming to an end, or does it still have a few million light years left to go? Are you excited to see the MCU go cosmic, or do you prefer the more grounded tales? Let's discuss. And be sure to like and subscribe, and guess what? It's Wednesday, which means it's time for a whole new episode of Bizarre States. You can watch it live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific on Nerdist's YouTube page. And while you're at it, you should definitely check out the spin-off show Bizarre States LA, where Bowser and I investigate all the weirdness surrounding Los Angeles. You can catch new episodes every Tuesday over on ProjectAlpha.com.